Hey guys, Nova here. I hope you guys enjoyed the recent Bouncer vs Boujin clips I posted a couple days ago. This video will be focused on Bouncer's skill tree with of course demonstrations and how they perform. Bouncer focuses on jet boots and soaring blades, utilizing techniques and melee attacks, dealing big amount of damage, causing bosses to be down very frequently. Jet boots focuses on mobility and tech attacks with kicks, and soaring blades focuses on melee attacks and firing photon blades. So here's what the skill tree would look like if this is your first time looking at it. Bouncers have a big focus on downing enemies, whether dealing either elemental or physical damage. But let's start with defeat PP gain. This basically recovers your PP whenever a boss is currently down. You know, when they get stunned and fall slightly? This also helps PP regen quite a bit. Defeat Amplifier boosts the chances of downing the enemies. This is pretty good for 1 point, so I would recommend putting 1 point into it. Partial Destroy Advantage is okay if you're focusing more on breaking parts. The more parts you break, the more tankier you'll be. I would see this working if you're like hunting Gigas or doing urgent quests like hunting next Vera or like fighting Petas Vera in the UQs or hunting veterans and all that. But all in all, I think this skill is okay. Probably better to just put 1 point into this, if anything. Physical Decline is for Soaring Blades, where hitting enemies with photon arts will increase the chance for downing enemies. And the same thing applies with Elemental Decline, but for jet boots. I just want to make a quick notice about this, but depending on how you play, whether if it's jet boots only or soaring blades only, I would just put 1 point into one of them if you don't plan on playing the other weapon. But yeah, so if you just want to play soaring blades only, just put 1 point into the physical down. If it's just jet boots, put 1 point into elemental down. Or yeah, or if you really want to, you could just put the points in both of them, and it doesn't really matter. And even so, with 1 point, it's still pretty good, but this is completely up to you. Anyways, Decline Amplifier, the 3 stages in the physical decline and elemental decline, this also boosts the chances of downing enemies. Well, yeah. The entire top row of the skill tree is focused on boosting the chances of downing enemies. So, Bardablot, just like Force and Tekker, you can cast uncharged ice techniques to charge the stack. A mark will show on the enemy, and to detonate it, charge any ice technique and attack to deal bonus damage. Zoneclad is the same thing, attack with uncharged lightning techniques. Charge and attack with lightning technique to deal bonus damage. Pretty straightforward for those two. So here we got Soaring Blade skills on the left and Jet Boot skills on the right. Fanatic Blade increases the damage of your Photon Blades. This is your weapon action when you're playing with the Soaring Blades. And this skill has 2 perks. Fanatic Blade Augment increases the number of blades spawning when you press the weapon action. I think by default it spawns 4 blades, but with this it'll spawn 6 blades instead. Photon Blade PP recovery increases PP recovery on marked enemies. When you shoot your Photon Blade and it hits the enemies, it has a chance to stick onto the enemies, and then when you see that, and you can get bonus PP regen when you hit the enemies marked with it. Jet Attack Extra basically gives you an extra attack. By default, I think it's 3 normal attacks, and now you can string up to 4 normal attacks instead of 3. And this skill also has 3 extra perks. Jet Intensity triggers when you hold down the normal attack while enemies are in range. This basically hits the enemies while increasing the speed of its attack and finishing off with a deadly axe kick, which deals a large amount of damage. And by large, I mean large. Like really large. And I also want to note, if you hold normal attack and miss, you'll just do that one long kick and then the combo ends right there. This does not give you iframes, so it's best to do this combination when the enemies are down. That's the whole point of the skill tree, of focusing on down enemies, so that you can pull off the combos. But yeah.
And you can also get interrupted in the middle of the combo too.
Moving on. Boot Trick Bounce Counter grants a counter if you use a weapon action to counterattack. You'll automatically strike back, and you can also do an additional attack following up with a normal attack. you'll shoot a shockwave for the first, and if you hit the normal attack again after the counter, you'll do a vertical sweep while closing in on your enemies. So it's pretty good for a gap closure too. Thrust Drive is basically Phantom's quick cut from base PSO2, but this triggers if you use a technique. So like either the ice technique, the fire technique, or the lightning ones, either or, your character will glow purple, and if you normal attack while that is active, you'll teleport towards the enemy. So a technique first, wait for like a second, and then normal attack for a quick gap closure. Fighter Twin Daggers also have a similar ability where after using a Photon Art, character glows purple, normal attack, and follow up to continue the combo while airborne. Jet Boots Element Set lets you continue attacking after using a technique. Your boots will show a ring around your ankles, showing what element you last used, and apply bonus elemental damage, similar to Force's bullet counter and Tector's wand element change. Jet Sweep Jolt is an active for jet boots. You can charge this by attacking enemies and or dodging attacks. But yeah, that's basically it for the skill tree. Again, I want to note that if you want to focus on melee only, get physical decline or tech with elemental decline, or both. It's really up to you depending on how your playstyle is with Bouncer. Now looking at this tree, most of the skills at the very top require Bouncer to be used as a main class. It doesn't sound that great to be a subclass, but if you're bossing and playing Bouncer at the same time, I would recommend setting Fighter as a subclass, because Fighter is a good subclass for dealing damage to downed enemies as well. But yeah, that's all there is to the Bouncer skill tree. So I had a request to show my weapon palette and sub palette and how I play Bouncer. So it's pretty self-explanatory, it's pretty basic. So it's just Bouncer with like normal PAs and all that, and I added a Zonde. I added a Zonde tech because we only have access to like 3 PAs, and it gives us room to put another PA in there. It doesn't matter what it is. But weapon action is on my thumb button on my mouse, so like the extra one. And then my Soaring Blades is pretty basic too. I don't have any techs in here because Soaring Blades doesn't have access to techs, only Jet Boots does. So yeah, pretty basic stuff. For my sub palette, I have my active here for my Jet Boots, and then more tech on my 3, 4, and 5, and then fire just in case, because fire needs some love. I don't know why there's no special stuff for fire, just like Zondikite and Barda Blot, but yeah, self-explanatory. Bouncer active, even though I could put this on my my weapon palette too. We could replace this, but it's fine as it is already. But yeah, ice techniques, the AoE, lightning technique, and then the Soaring Blade active. It's fine over here because that's the only active that Soaring Blade has, and only because they don't have access to tech. So I would have made a different palette and put it here if I wanted to, but it doesn't make any difference. Basically how I do it. That's about it. Oh, I also want to note that I forgot to say that when you do the weapon actions here, and then if you try to do it while in the middle of like the Photon Arts, or if of any of these, you're not going to be able to pull it off because you're going to have to wait till the PA ends and then use the weapon action. I feel like that's a big downside to the Soaring Blades, but the active for the Soaring Blades, the Fanatic Blade, makes up for it, but kind of sucks that you can't use the weapon action while in the middle of the PA, but it's whatever. And hello random person who just snuck up onto me as I was posing. I hope this helped you understand Bouncer better, and I hope this helped you enhance your Bouncer gameplay as well. Let me know what your thoughts are about Bouncer or anything related in the comments below, and yeah. I hope this video helps. If it did, I would appreciate a like, share this video to your friends, support the channel and all that stuff. But yeah, my name is ZN Renova, signing off. I hope you have a fantastic day. And you're all beautiful.